Aloha everyone and welcome to another Tinker's Academy video. I'm your host Kay Elmer, and in this video I just want to share with you some of the new boosters that I've been working on as it relates to the frequency medicine quantum healing thing that I've been covering lately in some of my videos, and also not just cover like what I'm doing but also how to do it for any of you that are new to Layla Q and Q-Blocs and things like that might want to learn, how do you go ahead and make your own frequency cards. So before I get into it, I do know that there are people that kind of pop in on my videos and may not have that backstory of what this is all about. So I'm going to do a really brief overview. Otherwise, this thing could get really long. So this is about frequency medicine, and that's what these frequency cards are for. And what I mean by that is that if you think about the human body, we really kind of like three things. This is all the way I look at life. We are biochemical, obviously, right? We all carry around. We're basically a soul in a meat sack, or if you believe in souls. But we're meat, and then we're also bioelectrical magnetic. I mean, we have almost all of our chemical processes are driven by electrical pulses in the body, and that's a whole nother subject. And then that's your bioelectrical field, and then there's this other thing called the human biofield, and that relates to the concept that we are energy. We are energy beings, not bioelectrical energy, but actual life force energy. And depending on what culture you're from, some cultures refer to it as prana, as chi, as orgone. There's all these different words in different cultures that explain what that life force energy is. So there's these three things that we are. And now, basically, like academic, modern medicine, they're totally focused on the biochemical aspect of ourselves, and they don't focus at all on the other two. Now, there are some things that are bioelectrical magnetic devices that do focus on the human bioelectrical field and interact with it in certain ways where it can, be beneficial and or in healing modalities, and I cover that in my electro healing series. But then what this one is about is specific to the human biofield, and what can you do to work with the human biofield and helping yourself in that aspect. And so when you look at the frequencies that are out there that you can use as part of the concept of frequency medicine, and my way of kind of categorizing them is that they're basically three as well, right? There's what I call etheric frequencies, which when you look at something like, the Layla Q Healer Network, these are all incredibly gifted humans that have talents that, the average person just doesn't have. And these individuals have these talents, and they could literally see frequencies, manipulate frequencies, pull frequencies from what I would refer to as the ether, and create these frequencies. They call them frequencies, but I don't even know if there's a language that really describes that. But it's from the ether. It's etheric. And then these frequencies, like abundance and prosperity and weight loss, they're just like an energy that's been put into some of these cards and these devices that came from another person who conjured it into existence from everything in the universe. It's really hard to explain, and again, I just want to say that there's no language for this, so there are no words I could use to properly describe it. I'm just trying to fumbling through with my monkey mind trying to explain what an etheric frequency is, so please pardon my monkey mind. But the other one that's really easy, and this is where I come into play, are the molecular frequencies. Okay, that's real. That's just, you can calculate what a molecular frequency is of any substance in existence that we could touch and feel. And then there's also the resonant frequencies, and these resonant frequencies are sound, right? It's just basically the sound, and it's what the human ear can and cannot perceive, it all up and down the spectrum of frequencies that have modulation and amplitude. And when you put it out a speaker, if you're depending on your hearing range, you could hear it or not. But that's the whole idea of resonant frequencies are sound. Molecular are frequencies that come from objects and substances, and then etheric is that whole other thing. So now where I dabble, okay, because I don't have the gifts and talents to like the folks in the Healer Network where I can just pull down or create frequencies from the ether, I really focus on the molecular, because that's something that I can manage, I can handle. I can also do resonant, but I haven't started with that one yet, and I think that's a whole nother series of videos to say, how do you capture resonant frequencies? But for right now, I'm talking about molecular frequencies, and this is what that means. And it basically, it's if you go on, just go to YouTube, and if you go to YouTube and just type in calculating molecular frequency, and you're going to see video after video after video of all these physicists and mathematics and mathematicians explaining how you can calculate molecular frequency, because the idea of molecular frequency is that every atom, which is this diagram on the left, every atom in existence, and everything's comprised of atoms, has typically has a neutron. Some don't have a neutron, some don't have but anyway, but basically they have elements. Okay, neutrons, protons, electrons, quarks, etc., and all of these different things are spinning. Okay, they're just spinning around like little planets, little moons, all that stuff, and that's quantum mechanics. That's the atomic theory and all that. And so these atoms are constantly in motion because of all the particles that are in motion. And then when you have something like this on the right, which is your H2O molecule, water molecule, one hydrogen, or sorry, two hydrogens, one oxygen, right? Or H2, yeah. Two hydrogens, one oxygen molecule. So you got this big old oxygen molecule. You got two little hydrogen, you have a big oxygen atom and two hydrogen atoms all attached to each other, right? They form a molecule. Atoms connect and then form molecules. And then even when they're individually spinning around and creating frequencies, and then when they're in combination and stuck to each other, they're also modulating in different types of patterns, right, that create motion again. And every time anything moves, spins, it's vibrating, and what vibrations cause are frequencies, and these are molecular frequencies. And as I said, you can go, and it's physics, and you can calculate what those molecular frequencies are based on how fast things spin around and how they're connected to each other. Simple as that. Or not. So now this is what I do, and this is how I create boosters, and this is how you can create boosters for yourself that are designed for whatever you want to have done, or whatever objectives you have. But the idea of what I do, so what I started with, and you can do this with essential oils. I mean, there's people in our Telegram chat group on the Quantum Power group, that we've got on Telegram. And there are folks in there that are traditional Chinese medicine folks. There are folks in there that are herbologists, right? And these individuals are conjuring up all sorts of different combinations or specific types of herbs and essential oils and so forth that they're actually using, and then they're burning in those frequencies into objects and using that for healing modalities as well. And so my focus, though, is more so on supplementations, because I'm really into supplements. And I found, and this is what the basis of the men and women's boosters was I went and collected, I did a lot of research on, like, let's say, I want to create a booster for, anti-aging. I want to create a booster, in this case, to improve my energy, because, man, I don't know, lately I've been really fatigued. My day job is just dragging on me, and I don't sleep well. And so I've just been dragging my okole, and that is your Hawaiian word for the day. Okole. It means you're behind in Hawaiian. So I've been dragging my okole around, just tired as heck. And so I decided, I need an energy booster. But, I don't want to be chugging coffee all day and then wire myself out. So I was thinking, well, why don't I, I do drink coffee, which is my biochemical self, right? And my bioelectrical self, I actually do charge myself up with, with electrical devices like PEMF or like or CNR, and I'll actually trickle charge my bioelectrical self and then increase my voltage, right? Increase my battery, my human battery. And then the third thing, though, is I want to take advantage of the molecular frequencies, and how else could I add more to my overall package of how I handle my life in terms of, like, how do I feel better about it. So I wanted to create an energy booster, and so I take supplements, and this is what I do. And the molecular frequencies of these supplements then go into the Layla quantum block. And what this device is, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically a quantum oh, wow, that's a hard thing that just popped in my head. How do I describe a quantum block to someone who's never heard of it? Okay, well, try to imagine like this little reactor, and it's all this energy, and the middle of this center of just mass, this incredible vast bright glowing light. In the middle of that light, right, is where the light and the energy is concentrated the most, right? That's what this is. This is that third energy, that life force source prana energy. Okay, all of that this is what these devices do. And by the way, I know this sounds absolutely crazy, because what are you looking at? You're looking at two metal bars, or two metal plates and four metal bars, or rods. Okay, so if you take a look at some of my other videos, for anyone who's skeptical or even thinks I'm crazy about this, take a look at the test results. This device is real. There are actual physical evidenced test results done by third-party institutes in Europe that have validated it, that there's actually an energy present, and that energy affects biological beings. Okay, and what I mean by that, they've actually had these things tested where people put their hands in them, devices that are charged with them, like water bottles and pendants and cards and dog collars, that those things actually affect the biological beings who come into contact with them, because they've been inside of a Layla quantum block. And how that was validated, check out the test results video if you want, is through heart rate variability testing, dark field microscopy testing, looking at blood before and after, and also through bioenergetic testing. And so there's these third-party independent institutes that test stuff, and they've actually validated and certified all of this Layla stuff as real. It actually does what it's claimed to do, and so that's why I use it. So now I basically take the supplements. It's got all of these molecular frequencies collected together. I put them in the block, and then I create and then I create that frequency set. It's a set of frequencies, of different molecular frequencies, all in one group, and I call it a booster. And that's what a booster is. And now what do you do with those things? Well, you could put the frequency into the quantum block, and then you could charge that frequency. You can put that frequency into water. You could put it into pendants and so forth. That's the different products that you could do. And it's just unlimited. You could do this with rocks, throw them in your garden. You could do this with anything, dog bowls, you name it. I mean, you could pretty much put the frequency of, let's say, all these supplements into whatever you want. I could, I could get it like a little wristband and put the energy frequency in a wristband and then carry it around with me all day long on my wrist, of course, that sort of thing. But that's how you capture frequencies, okay? And this is that part of it. So now, up till now, I just want to share that the frequencies, or what I call the boosters, that I've done so far, and these are the two that are for sale right now on Layla Layla Quantum Tech website, is they're right now they're carrying the men's booster and the woman's booster that I've created about a year ago, and they carry that in the form of a card or as a pendant. And what that is, like, if you just take a look at the men's booster, it's actually 5 separate, and I have a video on how I made these, so if you want to see how much is in there, like, there's over 50 different supplements in each one of these, the men's and the women's. I think there's 62 in the women's. There's so much in there. But all these different supplements that are in there, and the molecular frequencies of them, right, are in the booster. But so what I did was, for the men's, was I actually did the research on it. And, when I talk about research, I mean, I literally spent hours and hours and hours. And just like, for example, for the energy booster, I basically do a search on, hey, what's the best supplements for boosting energy, and then you pop up all of these different articles, the best 11 vitamins for energy, the best ones in 2021, the top 3, this, and I literally read 1, 2, 3 pages in to the search engine, all of these different articles about, like, everybody's recommendation is what's the best supplements you could have or use, right, and take to boost your energy, and that's what goes into a booster. Okay, and I did that for all of these other ones. So that's the energy one, and then again, like the one I'm doing now, what I'm going to show you is I did the allergy, same thing, 10 best, 18 best, and what's good for people with allergies, the 3 top ones, top 9 natural, blah blah blah. And I go 2, 3 pages in, and I usually spend a couple of days reading about what's the best supplements for a particular objective, and then I go and collect all those supplements, and then I go ahead and I burn those into a frequency card. So that's kind of what I did. So, like, if you look at my men's booster video or my woman's booster video, you'll see that it's comprised of actually separate other boosters. So the men's booster is a whole bunch of supplements for anti-aging, same thing for brain, cognitive functioning, memory, and so forth, immune boosting, boost up your immune system. Boy, isn't that a hot topic now? Stress booster, which is how to all the different things that everyone recommends to reduce your stress, manage your stress, keep you calm. And then then for men, this specifically a testosterone booster. We got to boost up. That's not just what people think. Oh, testosterone. No, no, no. It's actually that, and it's also vitality. It's also energy, and men, right? So we need that. If you don't have it, you don't. You have problems, right? Literally have physical problems. So I put that all. There's 5 separate boosters inside the men's booster. Now, the woman's booster has 5 separate boosters as well. It has the anti-aging, the brain, the immune, the stress, but instead of, obviously, you don't want women to get a testosterone booster, I went and created a separate one called the female booster, which has a whole bunch of different supplements that aim at everything that are hot topics for women, starting with regulating hormonal behaviors, hair, nails, eyes, teeth, skin, bones, and all those kinds of things that women are most concerned about, in as they age, and that's all of those frequencies are built into that woman's booster, and this thing has been on sale for, I don't think, about a year now, and the feedback, if you just go into the Telegram group, the feedback from people who have purchased these and that are wearing them as pendants is pretty cool. People are actually benefiting. Remember now, it's affecting your biofield. It actually does something. It actually helps you, and so and it's not the chemical aspect of it. It's a much more subtle approach towards your overall well-being, but it's real, and it does affect you in a very positive way. And so those are the 2 boosters that I've done before that worked. And I want to point out that, you don't hit a home run every time. I actually created 2 other boosters that just fell flat. By the way, every time I create a booster, I send it over to Philip von Holzendorf over at Layla Q, and he and his team of healers, the Healer Network, they take a look at what I create, and if it actually works, they pick up on it. Then that's how we ended up putting it on the website, and he created a product out of it. So kind of like I'm gonna be sending him these 2 new ones, the Energy and the Allergy booster, to see if they work, and they do what they claim to say. I'm claiming that they'll do like what they're supposed to do. What the supplements are for these particular issues, and then if it turns out to be that, hey, these work, then they'll probably be on the Layla Q website as well, and to include the other boosters that are offered there. So just show you kind of like where they put them. This is the Layla Q website. So if you click right here on the frequency list, I just want to point out like where I show up on this website, but it's the Layla Q website, the Quantum Tech website, and they sell different frequency cards. So if you click right here on the frequency cards, you can see right here the men's booster by Kelmer and the woman's boosters. You can buy the card, or if you go into their other site, you can see where right there, there's the actual pendants. That's the men's booster and the woman's booster, right? So that's kind of how it works right there. So that's kind of what those are right now. So we'll be testing out the Energy and the Allergy booster to see if those work, and hopefully they do work. And then if for people who suffer with allergies, for people that just need a lift up and they need some energy, then these will be great frequencies for you. Probably won't know that for a month or so, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that that's coming down the pipe. So now let me level set. I'm sorry, I have one more booster I just want to point out. This just popped up like I think yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, someone reached out to me from the Telegram group, and basically, told me that they had a family member who was having a cardio problem, and they were just saying, "Hey, is there anything we could do?" And from a quantum healing standpoint. And so I thought, well, hey, let me go ahead and put this together. And I'm doing an experiment right now, a quantum entangle experiment, where I just went to I have a lot of supplements, folks. I have a whole 5-drawer giant cabinet of supplements. And so I went in there and I did the quick research. I slammed together some quick research. I figured out the top 15 to improve cardiovascular health, the blood flow and all that. And I actually had 12 of the 15. Actually, I had 13 of the 15 supplements on hand already. So I whipped up a quick booster, and then I'm actually helping that family member right now in a quantum entanglement experiment. That'll be in the next video I make, and seeing if those frequencies can help that individual. So asterisk, it's not done yet. I'm still working on it, but I've got, quote, 13 out of 15 in a frequency set, and I'm actually testing it right now to see if I can if that'll help somebody. Okay, but that's the third one. It's gonna, and if it does help, then that'll be another one coming along for anybody that you know who has heart problems, or blood clotting and all that kind of stuff problems. Anyway, so this is what is inside those boosters. So right now, the Energy Booster has 16 different supplements based on the research that I did. The extensive research of what are all the top ones, and it's everything from ashwagandha to PQQ to L-citrulline, but there's a lot of different recommended substances or supplements where if you were to go to a nutritionalist and say, I need something to boost my energy, you're going to get this list, okay? And this list comes from a couple dozen different sources where there's a lot of redundancy and there's some unique ones, and I go and research each one of these things and how they actually help you boost your energy. And then I went and collected all of them, and everyone's always real interested in the cost, right? Because that's the first thing I think about when I see people do stuff like, what's that cost? So here's the cost of collecting all of these different substances. So, just the Energy Booster alone, if you wanted to create it yourself, you'd put together $252 worth of supplements just to be able to burn one frequency. And then you could use that frequency for, from the cards and so forth. But that's what that cost to put together was the Energy Booster. Now, the Allergy Booster, has a total of 9 different frequencies in it. And they kind of range all up and down in terms of cost. I mean, like Shilajit, if anyone's familiar with Shilajit, it's not cheap at all. And so that was probably the most expensive, substance right next to ubiquinol, in the Energy Booster. But you could see somewhere as low as like $5 a dose all the way up to $37 just to be able to get the bottle so you could have a sample of that substance. And so on this one, there is this, interestingly enough, highly recommended Amway product called ClearGuard that Philip recommended, saying that worked awesome for him. So I'm like, okay, that's got to go in the booster, right? So there's 9 different substances in the Allergy Booster. And it came out to a total, if you wanted to put it together yourself, came out to $168 to put that together, and that's just to help anyone with allergies, And then the third one, like I said, I'm working on this other one. It has 17 different substances or supplements in it for the cardio booster. And it ranges all up and down the scale, and so I put all of this together, and I only had a couple of these 2 guys right there that I didn't have on hand, so I just ordered them, and then once they come in, I'll be able to complete the card, and just to have, as an FYI, for cardio booster, it's $287. That's what it costs to put this together. So that's kind of what the price ranges are. So, that's really it in a nutshell. This is, what it is, why I do it, and how you do it is coming up. So let me go ahead and show you this. And then this is a little video because everyone likes demonstrations. So here's the video on how I did it. Okay, so in order to make the Energy and Allergy boosters, basically I've assembled all of the different supplements that I had mentioned earlier. And then, so these are all the supplements for the Energy booster. And there are a couple of liquids because I've got the C60 oil and the iodine. And what I do is I use these little tiny, I think they're 8 ounce, I buy these by the case. These little cups work really well to kind of put them all in, and then I just kind of label it. So if I want to add more later, I can do a reburn with more supplements if I wanted to kind of upgrade later on. So what I do is I just put them all in a little cup and label them so that I know what it is. And then I could use this cup and then put that into the Q-Bloc to go ahead and burn the booster. So these are the various different supplements that came out of the research to boost energy. And then over here are the various supplements, and then one pharmaceutical to boost the, and I call it an allergy booster, but it's allergy relief. And again, right here is all of the different supplements for that. There is one fluid, so I'm going to have to go ahead and, you take out the, you definitely don't want to put the rubber stopper in the Q-Bloc with this. So it's to actually make the booster is as simple as this. The longest thing that takes the longest amount of time is doing all the research to figure out what are you going to put in that booster, what are all the recommended substances that are going to kind of do whatever your objective is for your booster, and then and then collecting them all. But really, once you've got them in this, then it's as simple as this. The Q-Bloc over here, it only takes 3 minutes to burn the frequencies, the molecular frequencies of these these substances over to aluminum card, which is what I use. So I use these little aluminum cards, and I burn the frequency onto the card. So I'm going to have to take the cover off the C60, and I'll show you in a sec. Hard to talk when I'm doing that. So this is how you do it. You place and glass is no problem. You place the substances in the Q-Bloc. So this is the energy booster. Then you put whatever you want to put the frequency into, which in this case would be these aluminum cards, right? And then you just set the timer, and the timer is just the timer now on. Well, the timing is 1 to 2 minutes, 3 minutes max. Per the website and per the instructions. So I just go for a full 3 minutes so that I know that everything that's in there, all of the different substances in the Q-Bloc right now are going to burn into the glass, right, and into those cards. So you never want to use the same glass, because I did all of those other boosters in the past. That's why I put all those away, and these are all brand new glasses out of a fresh case of those jars. That's why you kind of have to dedicate. Once you use a jar for one of these, you dedicate that jar forever and ever for that specific booster. You cannot put, I cannot burn everything in this glass right here and then use that glass again for the allergy. Okay, you can't do that. So, because what you're doing is you're burning the frequencies, the molecular frequencies of the substances into whatever's inside the Q-Bloc. So the glass picks it up, and the cards will pick it up. So then, within another couple of minutes, then the burning, the charging of the frequencies into the cards and the glass will be done. I'll take the cards out, and then I basically use these envelopes, and I label the cards so that I don't forget what cards are what, and then I move on and I do the next one. And that's as simple as it gets. And it only takes 3 minutes, and that's how you end up with a burnt frequency card. And then that card then has purposes, as I'd mentioned earlier. You could use it either as something that's, you can use it if you have a Q-Bloc to create other objects. Like you could use it to create pendants. You could use it to charge water. You could use it to do all sorts of different things, including put it into the field and having it emanate through the field. And also you can use it for quantum entanglement type of things. So that's what the frequency does. But if you actually wanted to experience the energy frequency, though, the cards do not carry a lot of energy in terms of strength. So you're better off using the frequency and then burning it into a capsule if you have a Q-Bloc. And that's kind of like why the men and women's frequency on Layla Q's website, they're offered on a card if you have a block and you want to just move it around, move it to different objects, or it's offered as a pendant, and then you can then have that pendant, and that would be the thing that would have enough energy to kind of help your body. Your whole body would benefit from the frequency. So cards really aren't meant for basically exposing your whole body to something. They're meant for mostly just, transporting the frequency. So it's really important that you keep that in mind. So if you actually want to experience a frequency, you need to, you're better off with a pendant with that frequency in it, you can just have a pendant, and you could use one of these cards, and you could take the spheres out of the pendant with the card, make a little piece of foil, and that foil will then pick up the frequency, and you can add that to your pendant. So you still can definitely get a card and a pendant. Oh, there we go. So the timer's off and done. These cards are now, it doesn't look like it, right? But these cards are now the energy boosters. So that's that one. And that's as easy as it gets. It really is that easy. You take out the substances, and I'm done. You don't have to wait any longer than a minute or so, and then you put in the next one, and then you're done. So that's it. That's how you burn boosters, and the way I do it to keep organized and so forth. All right. Thanks.
That was it. So, it really is that simple, and I just wanted to kind of share all of this with you. Again, we have the new energy, the new allergy boosters, working on the cardio. I actually have a bunch of new ideas as well, just doing them a few at a time. It's not cheap. But, the whole idea, though, is that I kind of create these things for myself. And then I've just started recently thinking, trying to help other folks. So that's kind of what, I don't have any allergies at all, but people talk about it in the Telegram chat groups. I'm like, I'll go ahead and make a allergy booster, and then this cardio thing just came up yesterday. I was just kind of like, hey, there's an idea I never thought about, right? So, but that's the idea of the boosters. So, I encourage you guys, make your own boosters. If you want to try the ones I make, hey, awesome. And then, there's all those, and then there's those other frequencies, those etheric frequencies that are offered by Layla are incredible. I don't know if you've heard about the new weight loss frequency that Layla has, and I was one of the testers for that frequency, and it's pretty amazing. It works. It really does something where you just don't want to eat food anymore. It's really weird. But the new weight loss frequency is pretty awesome too. That just popped up on the site last week. So anyway, these are the new boosters by Kay Elmer and the Tinkers Academy, and I just want to say thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate your time. I'm really happy that you're interested in this kind of stuff, and it just kind of encourages me and everyone else to keep doing it. So make your own boosters. Come up with what you think could be beneficial for you, your life, your pets, your house, your plants. All of this is just going to be, it's just an amazing, positive thing. And thank you for being part of it. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for your kind words. And I really, really do appreciate your interest in this subject. And we're all in this together. So, and I don't mean that in the stupid MSM way, but you know what I'm saying. So we're this is it. We're humanity, okay? We are humanity. So if you want to learn more about what I do and all the crazy tinkering that I'm doing all the time, I've documented it on the Tinkers Academy blog. And you can just go and type in tinkers.academy in your URL window, and it takes you right to the blog. And so, lastly, thank you again for your time today, and appreciate you stopping by. Aloha.